This is Voice for Ukraine from International English School in Uppsala. The pod and the video where I speak with brave and caring people in Sweden, which gave support and help to Ukraine and Ukrainians in these dark times. Today we will speak with Hilde Allen, which is principal of International English School here in Uppsala. They decided to dedicate work day of their students to Ukraine and Ukrainians.
So my name is Hilde Allen. I'm the principal of Internationella Engelska Skolan in Uppsala. Even though it had been on the news and we knew that potentially this would happen, it was still a shock that it happened. And then, of course, concern for all the Ukrainian people, what would happen, the position they were being put in. And to be honest, a little bit of despair. Is this what the human race has come to, that we have an aggressive act against another country? So many different emotions. There were lots of questions and lots of emotions, concern, and so we spoke to the teachers and we talked about it's important that we let the students ask questions and be open about this. So that was done I think in many lessons, not just in one. We have mentor time where the students meet with their mentor teachers, so they talked about it there. But also, for instance, in social study lessons, they would talk more about where the Ukraine is and the geography and history and why how can a war happen like this. In Sweden, there is actually a tradition to do a day's work for a good cause. There's actually an organization that sort of helps plan and organize this. It's called Operationsdagsverke. And so even when I was a child, we used to do this. And then, of course, over the pandemic, it's maybe been a bit more difficult to do these things, but we wanted to pick it up this year. And of course, the Ukraine was a course that we had talked a lot about and the students had talked a lot about. So that's why we decided to have a day's work, but make it specifically for the Ukraine this year. And we wanted the focus to be, supporting the refugees. So the funds, any funds that have been earned by these students, they don't come to the school. They go directly to the refugee organization in UN, UNHCR. So we feel it's important to contribute. I think it's been a mixture of things from maybe working at home, doing some tidying or cleaning, or if you do have a garden, maybe some gardening, etc. I believe there are some students have maybe been able to go with their parents to their work and do some simple tasks. So I think there's been a mixture of things. We also had some students coming to school and help serve at the Year 9 lunch, the final year lunch for our final year students, and so there we were also able to collect some money and send to the organization. So
I'm Otto from 5D in ISU Uppsala. I cleaned my wardrobe because that needed doing anyways, and the clothes that were too small I also gave away to the Ukraine so that when some referees come here, they can have clothes.
I guess not a lot. Of course, a country in Europe, and I'm old enough to know about the Cold War and remember the fall of the Berlin Wall and how the Soviet Union was divided up into the different countries. And of course, we had Chernobyl happen. My father is a geologist, so we talked a lot about that at home, in my own private home. So I knew a little bit about Ukraine, but not lots. Eurovision, of course, possibly some of the students will remember that's a big event that has of course been held in Ukraine a number of times. So a few popular things and a few more historical things. Yeah.
I know some stuff about Chernobyl. I'm kind of a history nerd. I know that there's a lot of plains in Ukraine, so you have a lot of agriculture in Ukraine, so that's what they make a lot of money off. And I knew, not a lot, but I've learned a lot more now. That they're in a war. They're basically a war zone for Russia, kind of. It's quite horrible, because think of all these people. Yeah, it's just, why? Why do we have to have war, ever?
We definitely need to look at our world and learn from our mistakes, right? And the school is, of course, so important, and it's as part of the Swedish curriculum, of course, that there is a specific chapter about, you know, values that we need to bring forth in school, which I believe all schools do. In our school, we talk a lot about our rights as human beings, but also our responsibilities, and that they're equally important. And that, I think, permeates school life. We at our school, we also talk a lot about value words, which I believe most Swedish schools will do. Here we've brought up some more difficult words that we've been talking about over the last few years: integrity, empathy. Understanding your fellow human being is so important. Strength and unity, being together. We are a community in this school. We need to work together to make this a wonderful place to be in. Of course, in a school there will always be some conflicts. We're many people in one place, and there we of course support the students to resolve these conflicts. And how can you resolve conflicts? And I think those types of situations are the foundation, the beginning of showing someone that we don't need to fight, we need to talk and communicate and compromise. Maybe accept that we have disagree sometimes, but that's okay. So I think there are many different ways we work with students, and we have to work with students to make sure, as you say, that we have a world without war.
This was Voice for Ukraine, the pod where I speak with brave and caring people in Sweden who stands with Ukraine in these dark times. I am thankful to Swedish teachers who are helping Ukrainian children here in Sweden and who are teaching their students to help neighbors. If you have a story of support and help to Ukraine and Ukrainians here in Sweden, please share it with me. Slava Ukraini!